Hello, viewers. Welcome to my channel, Evolvebeyondmeds. I'm Jeeya Jain. I'm here with you today. Like as you've been following me, I've been talking about physical health, mental health, and I'm totally into spreading the awareness regarding mental and physical health. And today, something brought me into my awareness that how about talking about financial aspect of our life, as I've been seeing through this COVID and things since happening since 2 years now. We've been facing not just physical and mental health crisis, but also the financial health crisis, crisis. As I was just walking down the lane, and I just saw there are so many shops which are permanently shut in the process. There are so many on the verge of closing, and so many are on the edge. It really it touches my heart to see people going through so much of financial crisis. I think never like before. So today I'm going to be introducing you to my guest, who's really going to you know help us through our financial aspect of our life, and make things a bit more easier, or put some light in the dark areas where we are still we need some awareness on it. So his name is Deepesh Mehta. He's graduated management and certified financial planner. He has an experience of 14 years. He offers investment for all age groups, for all life stages, like say youth to midlife to older people, and like I mean to say post retirement stages also. His passion and his drive to help people is helped him to make people realize their financial goals and reach their financial goals, which in turn is a very good service, I think. Much needed, in spreading financial awareness or financial literacy across Bangalore. He's conducted more than 200 sessions by now across Bangalore. He lives in Bangalore with his wife and other family members, and he's a founder of Happy Investors Service in Bangalore. And he's also an author, which author of a book called Power Your Child's Financial Future and 7 Strategies That Every Parent Should Follow. So please help me welcome Deepesh. Hello, Deepesh.
Hello, Jeeya.
How are you?
Hello. I'm doing well.
I welcome you to Evolve Beyond Meds, and thank you for accepting the request and being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to know, why should somebody invest their money and not spend their money?
Okay. There's a big difference between investing and savings, which people don't realize this. So let me just give you a very small basic example. So let's say you earn 100 rupees a month, and in your 100 rupees that month that you earn, you spend about 40 rupees for your food, rent, and other expenses. Then you're left with about 60 rupees. Now people leave that 60 rupees in their bank account and assume that they have done well in their financial life by not spending the entire 100 rupees.
Yeah.
But let me tell you that 60 rupees that you leave in your bank account doesn't help you in any way, because that 60 is going to remain 60 until you don't go and put that 60 rupees for use.
Oh, yeah.
So that putting that 60 rupee into use is called as investment. Leaving that 60 rupees in the bank is called as savings. That's the fundamental difference, which people don't realize this. So only when you set aside that 60 rupees, that 60 rupees grows and becomes 70, 80, 90, 100 as your time progresses. Hence, one should actually invest and not just save his money.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much for for answering it so beautifully, and making us realize such a small thing, which we do it in our day-to-day life. So thank
Yes.
you. And why do you think that people have been investing into, see, we all of us have our LIC and LIC policy and bank FDs, everything, right? So why do you think, in spite of doing all these things, we are not getting wealthy? Forget wealthy, we are not able to reach our day-to-day demands of life. We fall short. We always have some kind of financial crisis in our day-to-day life. So why do you think that's happening?
So that's happening because of one fundamental reason, and that is called as your returns not matching or not beating inflation. I will tell you in a very simple language. Let's say the price of tomato is about 40 rupees a kg today. Okay, and I'm just putting in a very layman terms so that your audience
It's 80 rupees
understands this. And
actually.
yes,
Sorry.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So let's say it's about 80 rupees today. Now, this cost of this tomato increases by about 7 to 8% every year. This increment in cost is called as inflation. So this 7 to 8 rupees is standard across many of the items.
Yeah.
Now, when you make an investment anywhere, this investment should deliver you returns above 7 to 8 percentage. That is called as the concept of beating inflation. That means आपका 100 rupees 8 से 9 rupees के ऊपर earn होना चाहिए every year, because your cost of living is rising by 7 to 8% every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, whereas you look at some traditional investments like your LICs, fixed deposits, they predominantly give you returns closer to 4 to 5%. That means you're earning 5%, but your cost of living is increasing by 8%. Net to net, you're losing about 3% every year. When you compound this over a period of 10-15 years, because you take insurance policies or do fixed deposit for 10-15 years, when you compound this and look, you feel that the amount of wealth that you have created looks very small in front of the huge expenses that you have, that you have to spend in your future. So the fundamental thumb rule is any investment that you do should be able to beat inflation. And that is universal, not only with restricted to India or any specific region. It's universally that everybody has to follow that. Their investment should beat inflation. People who understand this, they take this seriously, but unfortunately most of the people don't understand this, and hence I've been spreading financial literacy over my last 14 years of my career, telling people that आपका investment inflation beat करना चाहिए, else you will not be able to create wealth for your long term.
Oh, okay. So in respect to everything that any business or any kind of work that we are doing, you think we can match up to this inflation rate with no matter with where do we financially stand? You mean to say
It
that?
it all depends on choices of investment products that you do. So
Okay.
there are two sources of income. One is called as active source of income, which is your business, your job, the salary that you get. That's where you work from 9 to 5, and then you get your salary or you do your business, create wealth. So that is active part. Now from that business, you will spend, from that money you will spend something, and then you will save something. That saving you'll be putting into investments. These investments that you invest, the choice of investment, the choice of instrument that you choose should offer you a return in such a way that is higher than your inflation. So just to give you today's number, today's inflation is about 7 to 8%. That means your cost of living increases by 7 to 8%. Just an example, if you're staying in a rented apartment, the owner says that every year the cost will increase by 5 or 10%. So your investment should deliver you returns above that. Predominantly, every investor should expect somewhere between 10 to 12% return, compounded annualized return per annum on his investment. Anything lesser than that is a compromise that you're doing for your own future.
Wow. I think this way you've answered that what mistake people make while investing. Or you have anything else to say in that?
This is not the only mistake that people make.
Okay.
There are
Okay.
multiple mistakes.
Oh.
There are multiple mistakes that people make. So let me put across. So some of the mistakes that people make is that they don't actually plan for the financial goals. And if you ask somebody, why are you investing? They don't have an answer. They don't know why are they investing. This is something like, you put a starting point on a Google map and then you don't put an end point.
Oh,
Then how
yeah.
do you know where you have to reach?
Yeah.
So in investment, the mistake that you need to avoid is that, it should not happen that you don't know why are you investing for. आपको clearly पता होना चाहिए कि this investment I am doing to, build an corpus for my daughter's education expenses, or
Oh,
for my own retirement, which is going to come after 15-20 years.
oh,
If you don't have an end point in mind, then you will just keep investing without knowing why are you doing. Then the second mistake that people do is that, they don't have enough money for their immediate emergency expenses.
yes, yes,
So,
yes.
so what we do is, we have a thumb rule that if your monthly expense is, let's say, about 1 lakh rupees a month, then you should be having 6 to 7 times of your monthly expense as an emergency fund set aside, which should not be used for any purposes. Take the example, COVID came
Yes.
and people had, people faced lockdowns, dukane band thi, there were, shops that were closed, people lost jobs. So
Yes.
temporarily they had a setback of about 2 to 3 months. So how do you
Yes.
cope up with such things? Then you have an emergency fund which you already planned, which is 6 to 8 times of your monthly expenses. If you have that, even if there's lockdown for 6 months, you can cope over and tide over all such challenges in your life.
Oh,
And third most important mistake that people do is, people don't have liquidity. When I say liquidity, matlab, somebody has a house of 5 crore but don't have 5 lakh rupees, to write a check, don't have a capacity to write a check of 5 lakh rupees. So we
yes.
call them as asset rich, cash poor. आपके पास
Oh,
asset है, cash
yeah.
नहीं है, आपका liquidity नहीं है.
Yeah.
So your investments should tick off all these fundamentals of investing. Only when you have done this way right, then we call them as financially literate.
So, yeah. And okay, what advice would you give to the viewers today on how to, they can have a financially well life, or they can be at least, there can be a sense of security somewhere at the back of their mind that whatever we are doing with our financial existing things, at least there's some security in the head, at the back of mind.
Yes, I think the fundamental thing that people should start doing is, they should, the moment they get an income, they should set aside money for their investments. Okay. Let me give you a very simple example. Let's say if you're doing a job and you earn about 1 lakh rupees a month. The moment you get your salary on first, before fifth, you should be, removing some portion of your money for your investment. That means invest first, spend later.
Oh, beautiful.
What
Yes.
people do is spend first,
And
invest
invest
later. So by the end of the month, when you see you hardly have any money left out in your bank account, and then you fail to do an investment. So if you just reverse the equation by, doing investment first and saving later, that solves 99.9% of people's problem.
Wow.
99.9%. That's the key. Because the savings that you do, the investments that you do, then again starts creating a passive income for you.
Oh, yeah. No wonder why we went down with the crisis during COVID and everything, because we were not planned, or.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that makes a lot of sense actually. And we always have an excuse to make, कि मेरे expenses इतने ज़्यादा, where would I save? I'm running short. I'm
Yes.
running short. But now I think after talking to you, I'm really getting so aware about, no matter whatever your financial status is, but still you can plan and work through it.
Yes, yes, yes. And this
Oh,
can be done by everybody. A person who is having 25,000 can save 20%, that's 5,000. A person having an income of 2 lakh can save about, 30-40,000 rupees. A person having a monthly income of 10 lakh rupees can save about 2 to 3 lakh rupees. So it's not necessary that, you should have a big amount to save. It all depends on what kind of income that you're earning. On that, at least 20% of your income should be saved compulsorily every month.
now I come to understand that it is an excuse that we make, that my income is not enough. when compared to my expenses, and so on. Like we can go on with this broken record every time,
Yes, yes,
and we get
yes,
nowhere, making such excuses.
yes, yes.
Oh my
People
God,
do
that's a
make, yes,
huge
yes,
thing. Thank you so
yes.
much. Yes, so please educate us on, me and my viewers, of course, all of us here, on how, like, how should someone plan for their child's education, the future education? Like, say, my son is in first year degree now, in case he has to go abroad or wants to study or anything, So, how do we set a plan?
Yes, this is my favorite subject, and
Huh.
in fact, this is the book that I have written called as "Power
Oh,
Your Child's Financial Future."
oh, I just,
So,
yeah, discuss this.
so the answer lies in that book, but in brief, I would summarize what exactly somebody has to do. Let me ask the viewers a question. You know, if you're listening, whenever you're listening, I think you should answer yourself that. Let me know, when should you start investing for your child's future? If I have to ask this question to the viewers will say that जब बच्चा बड़ा हो जाएगा उस टाइम इन्वेस्ट कर लेंगे, or when probably when he needs money, maybe when he is 17 and a half year old, then when he needs money on his 18th year, I should be investing. That's actually wrong. The investment should happen, according to me, the investment should happen the moment the mother conceives.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
That's the key. That's the key which people miss out, because everything in investment is all about compounding your money. If you go back to your class 1, class 2, class 3, you would have listened, you would have learned something about the formula of compound interest. So in that compound interest formula, that bracket is raised to the power of t. T is time. मतलब आप जितना
yeah.
ज्यादा टाइम दोगे, उतना आपका पैसा मल्टीप्लाई होता जाएगा. ये सब चीजें आपको जानकारी होनी चाहिए. As a investor, you should be knowing all these things, that how does the power of compounding work, how do you make money, what mistakes you should be avoiding. This is the key towards wealth creation. And if you don't have this money, either your child has to compromise in terms of not getting the kind of quality education that he deserves, or you end up taking a loan, which again adds a burden for you or for the child. Choice is yours.
Very true. So in case, we also come from a background, the traditional background is always like, if like I have a girl who's in ninth standard, my daughter. So it's like, save for their marriage, or, itna kilo sona dena hai, ya itna gram, whatever. So hum log itna save kar lete. So these investments has to be like, every investment should be first labeled that this is for the marriage, or this is for the say financial, for the education, this is for the health. So you need to categorize these investments, because on the whole, always I've seen the back of mind is like the marriage, and especially when it comes to daughters, we are so like want to make it so secured. So you think every investment should be categorized when it comes to children and ourselves?
It should not be categorized saying that this bar of gold is for my daughter, this is for my. It should not be categorized in that way. All your investments, you assume that you are pooling all your investments. Okay, you should be knowing when you need the withdrawals. That is more important. So when you know that yes, you need money in 2035, some money in 2032. Once you know this, then you can decide where you need to invest. So coming to an example of what you said, that your daughter is in class 9 and you want to plan for daughter's marriage expenses.
Like it is always
Now there
there
is
in the back of my head.
yes. Earlier we used to use typewriters,
Yeah.
and now we went to computers, then personal laptops and iPads. Things have changed.
Yes.
That there is, so if what I'm trying to tell is that पहले जमाने में जो कर रहे थे जरूरी नहीं कि अभी वो करना चाहिए.
Yes.
Earlier people used to give gold for their daughters. Now there is no hard and fast rule that you need to give gold as a security for your daughter. There are much better instruments, investment instruments like mutual funds, that you can gift it to your daughter, which she could use it at any point in time. What happens when you give gold to your daughter? This might be slightly controversial, but the problem is that people don't sell gold. जब आपके डॉटर को पैसे की जरूरत पड़ेगी उस टाइम वो गोल्ड बेचेंगे ही नहीं. They say that ये मेरे मम्मी के हाथ का, पापा का हाथ का, I don't want to sell this. What is the use of that asset which you can't use it at a given time? And if you invest in different, whereas if you gift some financial assets, your daughter can use it saying that yes, मुझे मेरे मम्मी पापा ने दिया था, which I am going to use it for the purpose which I need it now. So things have changed, and I think we should start thinking in those
it's all about evolving. Yes, we need to we can't afford to be rigid anywhere in any area of our life.
Yes.
Okay. So we are all going to retire in few years to come now. So how can I secure my future, financial future, and have a happy and peaceful life post-retirement?
Yes. This is a very important question that you have brought up for the audience. I appreciate that, you have brought this because, hardly people think. Okay. See, human's life is divided into 3 phases. The first phase is 0 to 25, where, you don't have to do anything. Your parents take care of you. Okay, so you don't have to earn anything. Your parents take care of your expenses.
At least in India, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
25 to about 55, your salary, your business, your job takes care of your expenses. So first 55 years of your life, you're sorted. But from 55 till the rest of your life, say 75 or 80, is where, you will not be having parents who would support you. You will not be having a job or a business which will support you. So what are you going to do for 20-25 years of your life where you will not be having any income for yourself? किसी ने सोचा ही नहीं है. And in fact, India is a country where 65% of the population are below the age of 35. Okay, so when this 65% of the population, after 2 to 3 decades, when they turn up to the age of 55 or 60, they would not be having any kind of an income if they haven't planned for their retirement. Okay? Because there's no government pension, your business don't give you any pension, nor you can depend on your children for your income. So how do you sort that big challenge? The way to do is that every month, as you earn, as you get to realize that you should be saving, set aside 20% of your monthly income for your investments. And these investments should be going into equity mutual funds, which beats inflation for you. So every month when you do an investment of about 20,000, 25,000 a month, and then as you keep increasing and you do it for about 20-25 years, naturally at the age of 60 or 55, you would probably accumulate about 5 to 8 crore rupees. And that 5 to 8 crore rupees is your retirement nest, from which you will be drawing a monthly income to take care of your expenses for the rest of your life. Somebody may argue that I will not live till the age of 85. Why should I save?
That's what I was coming to, because we are like, with the happening scenarios, and I think it's even catching a trend to talk like, kal kisne dekha hai? Whatever it's today, why should we, even learn or plan so much about future? So please.
So the answer to this is that, medical sciences is advancing.
Yes.
So 25 years back, there was no bypass. Now if a small heart, and people, if they had some blockage, suddenly the person was just dying, passing out. So now when there's a small heart issue, there's a bypass, and then the person's life expectancy increases by 20 years.
Yes.
Similarly, a lot of advancement will happen in the medical sciences.
Yes.
So people will live longer. And death is not in your hand. It is certain, but is not in your hand. So if death is not in your hand, how do you have to plan for those days where till you don't die? That's by building a retirement corpus.
So
The way to build a retirement corpus is start investing today. 20 to 25% of your monthly income has to be set aside for your retirement. That's the key.
that's such a huge thing. I totally get this, Thank you so much for sharing. And I also want to know, like, as you know, why in your introduction, I said you have conducted more than 200 sessions by now across Bangalore. And what do you teach there? Like, what is it all about? Can you just give us the gist?
So what do I do in my financial literacy session? I tell people that when you're earning money and when you are saving some money, how you need to put that money to use. Give them an guidance that you should start looking at your child's future. You should build an emergency fund. You should have a health insurance. You should have a life insurance. You should plan for your retirement. Life is not like a straight line. You'll always be having that ups and downs in your life. If those things happens financially, how you need to be prepared. So it's a session that I deliver, which is about 45 minutes to 1 hour, and then people get to understand this. And this is basically the idea of spreading financial literacy, and that's what I've been doing for the last 14 years. So
Wow. I think that's such a helpful service.
yes, yes,
And it's such a need of an hour. It is a need of an hour.
yes,
Thank you. And you have written a book, right?
yes,
So you're author of a book. So what this book
yes.
talks about, and who should really read this book?
So this book talks about how do you build a corpus for your child's future. Okay, a parent may be having two children. One child might be 8 years old. One child might be 4 years old. So this book tells you what are the kind of investment that you need to do, what are the kind of mistakes you should avoid, what are the kind of challenges that you face, and what are the kind of strategies that you need to adopt, so that when your child turns 18 years or 21 years old, the money is ready to be spent for his or her higher education expenses. This book tells what are the investments and how you need to plan so that you end up accumulating a huge corpus when your child turns 18 years old. So that's all this book is all about. It's a great book, and people who have read it, bought it on Amazon, read it, they have really given good reviews, loved it. And this is the only book in India which talks on child's future expenses.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why CNBC has picked this and put it under their brand publication.
Please, viewers, do read this book, and I'm sure to buy one copy and read. I'm sure it's going to help all of us. Yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
But and as you start investing, in 3, 4, 5 years, your financial sense of security builds.
Yes.
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 And I know you have been, doing a lot of sessions on, mental well-being. This financial, having financial portfolio adds up to your mental well-being.
Definitely, 100%. Yes, this has been a cause for many hard to anything, because the stress leads to everything, right? So when you're not financially secured, I think that's the biggest security that we are looking for now. So when you're not financially secured and you have such things coming up, I think the financial security plays such an important role in your mental and physical health.
Yes.
So at least if you are secured by that side of your life.
Angle. Yes.
So I think everything makes it a complete life, not just one aspect to it.
Yes.
So
real wealth lies in long term. That's the message I wanted to pass.
Thank you so much for your presence, for your precious time, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
I really thank you from my heart. Thank you so much for your kind, service and helping us to learn things which we really didn't, which we were overlooking.
I would like to thank you for bringing me here and, helping your audience to understand what exactly, financial literacy and financial planning is all about. A big thank you to you from my end.
Thank you from my viewers to you. So thank you so much. See you, Deepesh. Thank you so much.
See you.
Bye.
See you. Yeah.